Have you ever noticed how your mind tends to wander more in the evenings? You sit down to relax, maybe after dinner, and suddenly you're thinking about that doctor's appointment next week, or whether you locked the back door, or how fast. Time seems to be moving these days. It's like your brain doesn't want to turn off, even when your body is begging for rest. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And believe it or not, there's a simple, comforting habit that could help calm that restless mind, improve your sleep, and even keep your brain sharper, no matter your age. That habit is reading. Not scrolling on your phone, not watching another episode of your favorite show, but honest to goodness, hold it in your hands, turn the page reading. And before you think, well, I'm not much of a reader, or it's been years since I've picked up a book, just stay with me, because what I'm about to share might surprise you. In this video, we're going to talk about something most people don't realize: the hidden, powerful benefits of reading before bed. Especially as we get older, this one simple act can do more than pass the time. It can actually change the way your brain works, improve your sleep, reduce stress, and help you feel more connected and alive. And the best part, it's easy, enjoyable, and doesn't require any fancy equipment or expensive subscriptions. So, grab a cozy blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and let's get into why reading before bed might just become your new favorite ritual. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you gave yourself permission to slow down and get lost in a story? Not because you had to, not because you were researching something or checking the news, but just for the sheer joy of it. As we age, many of us start to lose that sense of play, of imagination, of escape. Life becomes more about routines, appointments, and staying on top of things. But here's the thing: your brain is still hungry for stimulation, for curiosity, for the magic of discovery. And reading gives you all of that, wrapped in a gentle, calming package. One of the biggest hidden benefits of reading before bed is how it prepares your mind for a deeper, more restful sleep. Picture this: your brain throughout the day is like a sponge, soaking up stress, information, emotions, conversations. By evening, it's full. Reading acts like a gentle wringing out of that sponge. It gives your mind something focused, engaging but not overwhelming to settle into. Instead of tossing and turning or worrying about tomorrow, you're following a character through a small-town mystery or traveling back in time with a historical drama. Your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your body starts to signal, okay, we're winding down. Researchers have actually looked into this. Studies show that reading, even for just 6 to 10 minutes, can reduce stress levels by up to 68%. That's more than taking a walk, more than listening to music, and yes, even more than having a cup of chamomile tea. And when your stress levels go down, your sleep quality tends to go up. You fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling more refreshed. All because you opened a book instead of checking your phone one more time before bed. And let's talk about that for a second, the phone. It's tempting, right? A quick scroll through social media, a few news headlines, maybe a video or two. But that kind of screen time, especially right before bed, actually works against your brain. The blue light from screens interferes with melatonin production, which is the hormone that helps you fall asleep. Plus all that stimulation, flashing images, fast-paced content, endless updates, keeps your brain in a state of alertness instead of relaxation. Reading, on the other hand, slows everything down. It asks your brain to engage in a deeper, more focused way. It doesn't bombard you, it invites you. And that invitation can be the difference between a restless night and a truly restorative one. But it's not just about better sleep. Reading before bed also gives your brain a kind of workout, a gentle but effective one that strengthens memory, focus, and even emotional health. Think of it like going to the gym, but without the sweating or the sore muscles. When you read, your brain is processing language, imagining scenes. connecting dots between characters and plot lines. It's exercising your imagination and memory in a way that watching TV just doesn't do. And for older adults, that kind of mental stimulation is gold. There's even evidence to suggest that regular reading can help delay cognitive decline. In other words, the more often you read, the more you build something called cognitive reserve, a kind of mental savings account that helps protect your brain as you age. And the beauty is, it's never too late to start. Whether you've been an avid reader your whole life or are just rediscovering the joy of it now, every page you turn is a gift to your mind. Now, I know what some folks might be thinking. I have trouble focusing, or my eyes get tired too quickly. That's okay. There are ways around that. Large print books are wonderful and easy to find. Audiobooks can be just as effective, especially if you close your eyes and let the story carry you away. The key is the act of entering into a story, of letting your mind engage with something meaningful, something that pulls you gently out of your own thoughts and into a new world. And don't worry about what you should be reading. This isn't about impressing anyone or checking books off a list. Read what makes you feel good. Maybe that's a cozy mystery, a classic romance, a World War II memoir, or even a gentle self-help book about gratitude. The genre doesn't matter. What matters is that it draws you in, gives you comfort, and helps you feel a little more connected to the characters, to the author, even to yourself. Another benefit that often surprises people is how reading before bed can help ease feelings of loneliness. Now, I don't mean to get too heavy, but let's be honest. As we get older, it's common to spend more time alone. Kids are grown, friends may have moved away, or we simply don't get out as much. But when you pick up a book, you're never really alone. You're stepping into someone else's story. You're hearing their voice, walking beside them, living their experience. And in that quiet, meaningful connection, something shifts inside. You start to feel part of a larger world again. That sense of companionship, of being seen, heard, and understood, is incredibly powerful. It reminds us that we're not just aging, we're still learning, still growing, still alive with thoughts and feelings and dreams. Reading honors that part of us that still wants to explore, to laugh, to cry, to be moved. So if your evenings have started to feel a bit dull or routine, consider making reading part of your wind-down ritual. Put the phone on silent, turn off the TV, find a cozy corner, maybe with a small reading lamp. Set the mood. Give yourself that sacred space to unwind and drift into another world. It's not about reading for hours. Just 10 to 20 minutes can make a difference. Over time, it becomes something you look forward to. A peaceful bridge between the chaos of the day and the calm of the night. And if you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We've got so many helpful tips and heartwarming ideas just like this, all designed to help you live your best, most joyful life at any age. Now that we've talked about how reading helps with stress, sleep, and emotional well-being, let's move on to another powerful way it can support your brain and memory. And one of the most fascinating things about reading, especially in the quiet, gentle hours before sleep, is the way it boosts memory and keeps the brain flexible. Think about your brain like a garden. Over time, certain pathways grow, a little overgrown, while others might need some extra tending. Reading is like picking up a watering can and giving that garden exactly what it needs. When you follow a storyline, even a simple one, your brain is actively making connections. You're remembering names, places, events. You're predicting what might happen next, and you're recalling what happened a few pages or even chapters ago. That's memory training, plain and simple. And unlike crossword puzzles or brain games, which can sometimes feel like homework, reading is immersive. It pulls you in without forcing it. You're exercising your brain without even realizing it, and the best part is you actually enjoy the process. Now, this next part might surprise you. Reading before bed doesn't just help you remember facts, it helps your emotional memory too. You know how you can read a passage in a book and it reminds you of something from your past? Maybe it's a line of dialogue that sounds like something your sister used to say, or a description of a rainy day that brings back memories of walking home from school with wet socks and a smile on your face. That's your emotional memory waking up, stretching its arms and saying, "Hey, I'm still here." And this is powerful, because emotional memory is closely tied to our identity. It reminds us of who we are, where we've been, what we've loved, and even what we've lost. That's not always easy, but it is deeply human. Reading can gently guide us through that, helping us reflect and reconnect with ourselves in ways we might not expect. Sometimes, the right sentence at the right time can heal something we didn't know needed healing. Another beautiful benefit of bedtime reading is how it helps you manage your thoughts, especially those stubborn, anxious ones that tend to creep in when the world gets quiet. You know the ones I mean. The what-if thoughts, the did I do enough today thoughts, the I hope I'm not forgetting something thoughts. They seem to sneak in the moment your head hits the pillow. Reading acts like a buffer against that. It gives your mind something else to chew on, something safe, meaningful, and under your control. And unlike watching the news or scrolling online, which often adds more anxiety, reading takes you out of your own loop. It says, "Come with me for a while. Let's explore someone else's world for a bit." And when you return to your own, you often do so with a little more calm, a little more perspective, and a lot less noise in your head. Now, if you live with a partner or a spouse, reading before bed can even become a shared ritual. Imagine the two of you, side by side, each with your own book or maybe listening to an audiobook together. It's a quiet companionship. You don't even have to say anything. Just being in that space together, winding down with a shared sense of peace, can bring a closeness that's hard to find in the busyness of the day. And if you live alone, well, here's the magic. Reading still gives you company. The characters, the authors, even the readers who have come before you, they're all with you. It's a kind of silent community. And if you ever feel disconnected, reading can remind you that your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, they matter. They're part of the larger story we're all living. Speaking of stories, did you know that reading fiction can actually improve empathy? It helps your brain imagine what someone else is feeling. When you follow a character through their challenges, heartbreaks or triumphs, your brain practices compassion. And over time, that translates into real-life kindness and understanding. Isn't that beautiful? Just by reading before bed, you're actually becoming more open-hearted, more emotionally attuned, more human, and it works the other way too. Reading non-fiction, memoirs, history, even inspirational books can bring a sense of perspective that helps you make peace with your own journey. You realize you're not alone in your struggles, your questions, or your joys. Others have walked similar paths. Others have found hope in unexpected places, and that gives you strength. Now, I want to pause here and say something important. If you've had trouble getting back into reading, don't be hard on yourself. Life gets busy, even in retirement. Maybe you've tried to read, but you kept getting distracted. Or maybe the book just didn't grab you. That's okay. It doesn't mean reading isn't for you. It just means you haven't found the right book yet. Keep looking. Ask friends what they're reading. Visit your local library. Look through your shelves at home. You might be surprised by what jumps out at you. And here's a little tip. Try starting small. Pick up a book of short stories or poems, something you can dip into without a huge commitment. Read just a page or two before bed. Let it become a gentle habit, like brushing your teeth or turning down the covers. It becomes part of the rhythm of your evening, something you look forward to, not something you have to finish. Over time, this habit builds, and what you might notice, slowly, quietly, is that you start to feel more settled at night. Your thoughts feel less jumbled. Your dreams become more vivid. You wake up with a little more clarity, and maybe, just maybe, you feel a bit more like yourself. Reading isn't a magic cure-all, but it is a powerful ally, especially in these later chapters of life, when the pace of things changes and the world sometimes feels like it's moving too fast. Books can be an anchor, a reminder that wisdom doesn't fade, it deepens, that learning never stops, that the mind, like the heart, is capable of growing at any age. So if you've been looking for a way to bring more peace into your evenings, to sharpen your memory, to reduce stress, or just to feel a little more connected, consider giving bedtime reading a try. It's free, it's easy, and it might just change your brain, your sleep, and your heart in the best possible way. If you're finding this video helpful so far, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We share thoughtful, inspiring tips every week, all with your well-being in mind. Let's keep going. There's still one more wonderful benefit of reading before bed that we haven't touched on yet. One that has to do with creativity, purpose, and waking up with more joy. Because reading doesn't just help you fall asleep more peacefully or keep your memory sharp. It also has a beautiful way of stirring something inside us that often goes quiet with time. Our creativity. You might be thinking, I'm not a creative person, or that ship sailed a long time ago. But the truth is, creativity isn't just about painting or writing or playing an instrument. It's about how you see the world. It's the spark that makes you notice the shape of the clouds, or dream up a better way to organize your garden, or write a heartfelt birthday card that brings someone to tears. And reading, especially before bed, when your mind is open and relaxed, can gently reignite that spark. There's something powerful about letting your imagination roam free. In the quiet moments before sleep, when you read a story, your brain doesn't just absorb the words, it creates pictures, sounds, emotions. You start to feel like you're right there with the characters, walking their path, facing their struggles, celebrating their joys. And without even realizing it, your own creativity gets a little stretch, like a muscle waking up after a long nap. Over time, this nightly dose of imagination spills into your mornings. You might wake up with a fresh idea, a new way to approach a challenge, or simply a lighter mood. That's not an accident. It's your brain working in the background, processing what you read, weaving it into your thoughts, your feelings, your understanding of the world. It's a kind of quiet alchemy. And it all starts with a few pages before bed. And here's something else to think about. Reading regularly, especially before sleep, can give you a renewed sense of purpose. It may sound like a small thing, but when you have a book you're excited to get back to, it gives your day a little structure. You look forward to that evening ritual, that time set aside just for you. It becomes a promise you keep with yourself. And there's a kind of quiet confidence that comes from keeping those little promises, from saying, I matter enough to enjoy this moment. This isn't about being productive, it's about being fulfilled. It's about choosing peace and connection and curiosity, not because you have to, but because you can. Because even in this stage of life, maybe especially in this stage, you deserve beauty, stimulation, joy, and a sense of discovery. Reading also has a beautiful way of reminding us that change is still possible, even now. Maybe you read a story about someone starting over in their 70s, or finding love again, or learning something new after retirement, and you think, why not me? That's the kind of shift that can happen from something as simple as a chapter before bed. It opens a window. It reminds you that your story isn't finished, and there are still so many pages left to turn. And if you ever feel discouraged, if you're dealing with health worries, loneliness, or just that sense that the world's gotten a little too loud, let your reading time be a refuge, a safe harbor where you can rest, reflect, and remind yourself of all the things you still enjoy. It's okay to need that. It's more than okay. It's human. And yes, there may be nights when you're too tired, or you can't concentrate, or the book just doesn't grab you. That's fine. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency and self-kindness. Keep a few different books nearby. Something light, something deep, something inspiring. Pick the one that matches your mood. And if you only read a paragraph before you nod off, guess what? That still counts. That's still part of your story. So let this habit be a gentle revolution, a nightly act of care, a quiet message to your brain and heart that says, we're still growing, we're still curious, we're still alive. Let's take a moment to gently summarize what we've explored together. Reading before bed can calm the mind, reduce stress, and help you sleep more deeply. It exercises your memory and sharpens your thinking, keeping your brain more flexible and alert. It eases loneliness and brings a sense of connection, both to yourself and to others. It fuels your imagination, nudges your creativity awake, and can even shift the way you see your own life. And maybe most importantly, it gives you something to look forward to each day, a simple, joyful way to end the night with peace and purpose. Remember, small habits make a big difference. You don't need to change everything at once. Just start tonight, pick up a book that interests you, turn off the screens, settle in, let yourself wander into a story, and see what begins to shift, not just in your sleep, but in your spirit, because you deserve rest, you deserve inspiration, and yes, you deserve to feel the joy of discovery at any age. If this message spoke to you, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. We've got more content coming your way that's designed just for you, uplifting, practical, and heartfelt. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's your favorite book to read before bed? Or, if you haven't started yet, what kind of story are you drawn to? A mystery, memoir, romance, poetry? Let's share with each other. You never know. Your recommendation might inspire someone else to pick up a book and start a beautiful new habit. Here's to restful nights, curious minds, and the quiet magic of stories. Here's to living your best life at any age.